Can I give you a few more takeaways from training camp today? Giardi had a later post.
Yeah, please.
But I found some stuff in here interesting. Sorry, we're going to give it to you anyway.
Cora's like, let's talk about my good baseball team.
And Cora's like, please, please, go ahead.
Thank God Camp's here.
Number one, I meant to detail this earlier. Jared Wilson, the third-round pick out of Georgia, the second third-round pick, in addition to Kyle Williams, was getting some top reps with Drake May at center. So maybe he's in the mix as a first-team center and or guard. He kind of moved around a ton of the offensive line while he was at Georgia. But maybe he's a center, which would shift either Bradbury or Strange.
Yeah.
Hopefully Strange right out of there.
I mean, Bradbury, it seemed like that was a poorly kept secret when you did, like, is Andrews retiring? Is he getting cut? Like, whatever. But Andrews wasn't going to be back. And then they're like, oh, they really want Garrett Bradbury. And you're like, all right. But, like, the Vikings didn't want him anymore.
Not at all.
And according to all the the PFF stats, he's the worst pass blocking center in football. And you're like, he's our guy. I'm like, well, hopefully they have another option.
We have a year two franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Let's bring in the guy who can't protect at all in the pass.
No, he's the worst at it. So that's why, like, a middle round rookie, if they identified him and they want him, like, hey, give him a shot.
Look, I acknowledge, I don't love the offensive line, but I acknowledge mid-season we could look at it and say, you drafted a left tackle, fourth overall in Will Campbell.
Stud.
You found a center in the third round. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah,
I wouldn't wager on it. Oh. I'm not holding my breath on it. But I acknowledge that's possible, and I didn't expect him to be in the mix, top center, on day one of training camp. I'd say that's a good sign. Here's another good sign from Giardi.
All right.
Didn't detect any hint of a limp from Diggs. Neither did I.
No. You know me, I have hawk-like vision.
Oh, if something's limp, I'm spotting it. But he says,
is that your superpower?
Yeah, that's right.
The Fantastic Five.
No,
Adam Jones.
I'm the rock hard man, is what we established earlier today.
Good point.
Giardi says he did detect a little hitch in the spring. That's like Andy Hart was watching tape right away and detected a little hitch.
He thought so.
So there's that.
No, he looked great. He was leading the drills.
I thought he looked tremendous.
In fact, he did more stuff than I even thought.
100%.
I thought yesterday we got a very positive update, and we talked about what Vrabel said, and we're like, all right, that's a positive update, but it's still sort of TBD as to what he does. And maybe, like, he does every other drill, and you're like, all right, he's still out there. But he was, like, front of the line, showing the younger guys how to do it. And then he was out there during 11-on-11s, and Drake May was looking for him. So, no, really with that stuff, I'm very pleased.
Giardi also said he saw a lot of Keon White around the quarterback, which ties into the bad. Pass protection less than optimal. We read that from Bedard, Callahan, and others. He says some would even say subpar.
Oh, boy.
A lot of heat off the tackles. He says Dobbs was spraying throws here, there, and everywhere.
He was terrible.
Which I did notice.
He was bad.
He also he makes a good point. He said, I didn't notice any of the receivers that are fighting for jobs and playing time. He says Polk was conditioning only, but Baker, Board, and Booty were all out there. None of those guys flashed, which I'd agree with. Chisholm had one nice catch. Kyle Williams had one very noticeable catch, 2 total. Diggs I noticed as well. I didn't notice any of those others.
No, it was Diggs and Williams, I would say. And then Drake May, pretty sharp, except for the one kind of overthrow that Peppers almost picked off. That's kind of what jumps out to me mainly. And then, how bad the second offense looks, but that's sort of a secondary thing. So there's a big-time competition, not only for playing time, but just roster spots at the receiver position. And it seems like Kyle Williams, who's probably already going to go in, like sort of, he's going to get the benefit of the doubt. He's going to get any kind of tiebreaker. But even still, he kind of separated himself from that group of second and third-year receivers.
Yeah, it's one day at training camp.
Of course.
Who knows what it actually means at the end of the day, but Williams flashed, and that's good. The other side of that coin is none of those other guys did, which that shouldn't be a surprise. None of them were good last year.
Right.
None of them were good.
I would have been surprised.